$1,200. 29.80 divided by 82 games. It's like $36.34. $36.34. So you can see if I buy a season ticket, I'm getting cheaper tickets than I would with just a single game ticket, right? But of course, that only makes sense if you go to a lot of the games. So real quick, what does one cost for one season ticket in the outfield? It's going to be $1,200, right? Season ticket outfield right there, $1,200. The baseball team has 82 home games. If you were to buy an outfield season pass, well, that's $1,200. There's 82 games, so $1,200 divided by 82. Let's see, $1,200. What did you guys get for that? Did anybody actually get it? 14 what? 63 per game. Right, maybe we need a decimal in there if you got 1,400. $14.63 per game compared to $18 per game. I'm saving like $3.37 with that season ticket, right? So if I were to attend all 82 home games and bought single game tickets in the outfield, how much would my total cost be? So if I didn't go to the season ticket route, I wanted $18 tickets for all 82 games. What is 18 times 82? 1476? 1,476? All right, that sounds right to me. Is that more expensive or less expensive than a season ticket in the outfield? More expensive, right? Now, when I get down to this table, I see this is for upper deck infield. Well, upper deck infield is $40 per game for the upper deck infield. So 5 games times $40 a game is $200. Everybody see that? Yeah. Well, if I have 10 games at $40 a game, what's the total cost for that? $400. Is this next one going to be 15? Am I just following a pattern here? No. Right? If I see the total cost is $520 and I know it's $40 a game, I'm going to have to pull out my calculator and do $520 divided by 40, kind of working our way backwards. That's 13 tickets. So 13 times 40 would be $520. I saw a lot of people just go, oh, $510, that must be 15, that must be 25. But we got to use the data that we're given and kind of work our way backwards. 20 times 40 would be what? 800. And then how many games is $1,000 going to get me? Should be 25. Right, 25 times 40 gives me 1,000. All right? Any questions on the front? Pretty straightforward, right? Okay. To the back, write the equation that represents the total cost of buying a single game ticket in the lower infield. Well, how much is a single game ticket in the lower infield? $32 per game. Right? So when it asks me to write an equation, what's the formula that I should be using? Do you guys remember what it's called? Y equals mx plus b. Where m is my, if we remember this, called unit rate. Everybody say unit rate.
Unit rate.
Now, we know m is the slope, right? But if I'm talking about a word problem, typically that's my unit rate. So in this case, the unit is per game. So the m should be $32 per game. All right, m is going to be 32. It says that C is the total cost, and the number of tickets is G. A single game ticket is G, right? So if I'm going to write an equation, my total cost is equal to $32 times the number of games. So if I go to 2 games, $32 times 2 games, what's my total cost? 64. You see how that equation works?
Yep.
The cost is just $32 a ticket times the number of games. What if I wanted to go to 10 games? What would my total cost be there? $320. I just plug in 10, multiply it, and that's what I get. So that's the equation that they would be looking for. Now, if you put y equals 32x, would that be right? No. Because it tells me that my total cost should be C, and my single game ticket amount should be G. So we got to plug those variables in for the y and the x, okay? Anybody able to figure that out and write that equation in E? Araya did. Evian did. Okay. For the upper deck infield, what's the minimum number of games a fan needs to attend to make purchasing a season ticket less expensive? Now, this is where it gets a little bit trickier, right? We're talking about the upper deck infield. So what are my prices for that? $40 and $29.80. $40 for a single, $29.80 for the season, right? We know that the season ticket's going to be cheaper, but we know it's going to be cheaper if I go to every single game, all 82. What if I can't make it to some of them? Was it still a good deal? I got to figure out what's my minimum. How many games do I have to go to make it cheaper, right? How might we be able to figure that out? Good question, Mr. Church. Thank you, Mr. Church. Well, if it's $40 a game, right? I could say C is equal to $40 times the number of games, right? But I want this single ticket, right? This is the formula for a season ticket. I want this to be less than 2,980. So I can say 40G is less than 2,980. Do you guys remember what this is called with this little sign here? Starts with an I. What does that say? Inequality. Everybody say inequality for me. So an inequality is just an equation with a greater than or a less than or greater than or equal to or less than or equal to sign, right? So in this case, the two sides of my equation are not equal. One of them is going to be bigger than the other. So this inequality is going to tell me the number of games that I need to go to save money on that $29.80. So what would I do on both sides if I want to get G all by itself? Well, what am I doing at G right now with that 40 in front? I'm multiplying, so I've got to divide by 40. 74.5. If I divide by 40, 74.5. Can I go to 0.5 of a game?
Yeah.
I can go to half of a game?
I mean, yeah, you just go there.
I can buy half a ticket and leave halfway through and save half the money?
No.
No. You can buy it. You can leave halfway through, but you're paying for the full ticket, right? So let's round this up to 75. So this tells me that if I make it to 75 games, I'm getting a deal on my season tickets. Let's test that out. If I bought $40 single tickets to 75 games, 40 times 75 is $3,000. Is that more expensive or less expensive than the season tickets? Well, how much are the season tickets? $2,980. So if I go to 75 games and I don't buy the season tickets, I'm spending $3,000 on tickets. Well, I could save myself $20 and get to go to 7 more games if I have the time to. So the question being, what's the minimum number of games you need to attend to make a season ticket less expensive? 75 games. What if I attend 74 games? Let's say I can only make it to 74. Well, 40 times 74 is $2,960. Is that more expensive or less expensive than the season tickets? Less expensive by a little bit, right? So if I know for a fact I'm only physically able to go to 74 games this season, I should not buy the season tickets because I'd be spending $20 that I didn't need to spend. Does that kind of make sense? Okay. And then G is a headache, right? You've got to make recommendations about all 3 sections if they're attending 65 home games during the season. Well, we already know for the upper deck infield based on F that they should not buy season tickets because you would need to go to at least 75 games. If I can only make it to 65, I'm going to be way overpaying for the season tickets. Should not buy season tickets because at $40 a ticket for 65 games, 40 times 65 is $2,600. Okay, that's fine. 2,600 compared to what? How much of the? Yeah, season tickets are $2,980, right? So I'm spending $380 more than I need to if I buy the season tickets. Is that what you guys got? Did you even make it this far? Some of us?
Yeah.
Lower infield. What's the cost there? $32.19.90. All right. So if I want to make it to 65 games at $32 a ticket, let's see if that's cheaper or more expensive than our season tickets. 32 times 65, 2,080. Is that cheaper or more expensive than my season tickets?
More expensive.
More expensive. So in this case, it would be better for me to buy season tickets because I'm saving $90 and I'm able to go to, 17 more games essentially for free if I'd want to. So here you should buy season tickets. What about the outfield? $18, $1,200, $1,200. If I do $18 times 65 games, oops, can't even see it. There it is. $1,770. Or sorry, $1,170 I should say. Is that cheaper or more expensive than the season tickets? Cheaper. Cheaper by $30. So in the outfield, you should not buy season tickets. Save yourself $30. Now again, you may be saying like, oh well, it's only 65 games. They could go to all 82. But the premise of this problem is saying they can only attend 65 games. So if you know for a fact, oh, these 17 days I'm busy, I can't go to the games, I can only go to these 65, should I buy a season ticket or not? The only time you should, essentially, based on our numbers here, is if you're sitting in the lower infield. Yeah, Alicia? Okay, hold on. Any questions I can answer about that? All right. If you're all done with that, you can pass that up. I'm going to get your last worksheet passed.